Hi everyone. Good evening everyone. Okay, so let's start with the session. So today we are going to discuss uh, that how you should prepare for the Maharashtra MBA CET 2026. See, actually we have scheduled two webinars. One is about how to prepare for this exam. Second is about the all the details about these exams. Okay, so when we'll talk about all the details of this exam, so that will be the next week probably will schedule. But at the same time, let me inform you that that CET registration has started. But this year the registration process is totally different. You have to link, you have to give your access of your DigiLocker. You need your APAR ID. You require your Aadhaar card also. So we'll soon release a video or we'll have a live session on how to register for CET. Also, there's a confusion because it's a generally it is a general link for the registration for series general, but on website they have mentioned for it is MAD and some other exams only. So we'll clarify that part and we'll soon come up with the video part so that we'll guide you on how to register because this process is different. So I'll suggest your registration is window is going to be open for a longer time. So don't be in hurry. Okay, if you make a mistakes, then you need to fill the form again. So better wait for our guidance and then only I'll suggest you to fill the form. Fine. So let's start with the today's part. Now here, what I'm going to discuss, I have just this is the complete agenda about the CET part. Okay. So out of this, what I'll do, I'm going to discuss this portion. Okay, that is MMS versus PG, top institute, seat distribution, then cutoffs. Okay, these areas I'll discuss in the next session. Fine. I was planning to discuss it today, but I feel that the session will become too lengthy. So we'll have one more session where I'll discuss about all the details about the colleges and everything. This admission process also in detail we'll discuss in the next session. So today I'll focus purely on the exam part and how you should prepare for it and what you can actually expect in the exam part. Fine. So let's start with the first part, that is the exam dates. Okay. Now CET 2026 exam dates are here. You are allowed to give the CET second attempt also. Okay. So the first attempt is scheduled on 6th, 7th, and 8th of April. Okay, but it's not you can choose any date. They will give you the date on which you can appear, so you don't have a choice of choosing the date or slot. And the second attempt is scheduled on 9th May 2026 part. Okay, again these dates are tentative unless the final schedule, because in the past we observed that the CD has changed the dates even after declaring the dates. So unless they say final admit card comes, these dates are not confirmed, I'll suggest. Fine. So let's move to the CD paper pattern. Okay. Now, if I look at the CET process part, so how is going to happen? Because as the CD registration has started, again, as I said, there is a confusion whether it's a all CD registration or it is only MED registration. So we'll clarify that once we do the entire process properly. So what happens generally? First, you have to fill the CD application form. The first step is you have to fill the CD application form. Second stage is you have to appear for the CD exam. Third, within a 15 days or 1 month period, they will declare a result part. Okay. Fourth stage is the document verification. You have to verify your documents. Now, please understand, usually when you apply, when you do the CD application part, there is no documents you have to upload. Fine. But as there are changes this year, they are going to have access of your DigiLocker. So I don't know whether they're asking you to upload documents from there. That we need to check this time. So this is a document verification part. Okay. And then your common admission process start, that is called as a cap round process. And finally, you have to do your admission formalities. So these are these stages through which you have to go through. Now, what we'll do, we'll guide you on each of these stage, that what happens in a cap round part. Okay, what is the seat distribution, how many are for the open category seats, is a category seat, what types of seats are there. That will have a separate session on that. Today I'm purely going to focus on the academic part. Fine. So what is the CD paper pattern? Now here this year also See, every year I go through the website of CET and just check have they made any changes in the paper pattern. So this is the paper pattern they have mentioned in their website. In fact, the same brochure they upload every year. Okay, so even if they make changes, I'm doubtful uh, whether they will upload a different information or not. So here, this is a paper pattern right now they have mentioned. Why I'm saying that way, I'll explain you that part. So the general CD paper pattern is what? 200 questions are there. Okay, every question carries 1 mark. So there are 4 sections are there. So last year when I talk about the CD zone 25, so there were proper 4 sections were there. That is a logical reasoning, abstract reasoning, quantitative aptitude, and verbal ability and reading comprehension. Though there are 4 sections are there are no sectional time limit is there. Means you can decide which section to appear first, which section to appear next. Even it's not like required. You can do it this way. Okay, I attempted 5 questions in logical reasoning, then 5 in abstract reasoning, then 5 in quant. Again, I came back to 5 logical reasoning. That way also you can do. But generally, people don't do that way. They generally go section wise. So you can decide what to attempt first, and within a section also, which question number you want to attempt first, you can decide that part. Okay. So exam is an online mode. As I said, one question carries 1 mark, and you can see total duration is 150 minutes. Total duration is 150 minutes. That is 2 hour 30 minutes. Every question has 5 answer choices. From that, you have to choose one. So, like cat, it's not that you have to, there are some theta questions. No, every answer question will have 5 answer choices. You have to choose one of them. As I said, you can switch between the sections at any point of time. And more important part that many people consider this exam, that is no negative marking is there. Okay. I don't know whether that's an advantage or that's a disadvantage, but there is no negative marking in this. There is no sectional cutoff also. Okay, means what? If you have a, let's say, 200 questions paper, you decided, okay, I will not attempt quant. I don't know quant. I'll not attempt quant. I'll attempt all the other 150 questions and I'll get all 150 correct. Still okay. That's not a good strategy, but technically that's possible as there are no sectional cutoff. So when CET declares your result, they declare your overall score. Even they don't declare your overall score also. They give the overall percentile score. So there is no sectional percentile or sectional scores are given, right? So that is the CD paper pattern. So please understand, uh, when I talk about the CD exam, I just required your comments on how you pursue or what is your perception about the CD exam. So can you put it in the chat? CD is easy exam, moderate exam, difficult exam. I want everybody to answer that part. Yes, yes, I'm waiting for the your answers. Can you just tell me how you take it as CD easy, moderate, difficult, or you compare with the other exams also? You compare with the other exams also. Yes, I am waiting for the replies. Hey, nobody is replying. Yes. So CD is easy, difficult, moderate. What is your guess? Okay. I just give you some data as I'm not getting any responses. I just give some data based on this. Okay. Uh, just understand. Look at CD 2021 paper pattern. I'll come back to that whatever data I was planning to give. I'll show you on the next slide. I'll just give this 2021 paper pattern. Now just understand. Look at this is the paper pattern I said. This is the paper pattern almost for more than last 10-12 years. The same paper pattern is going on. Okay. Now what happened in series on 20 during COVID? That series on 20 was over before the lockdown started. So when series on 21 was scheduled, series on 21 was scheduled somewhere in the month of September that year. Okay. So what happened? They declare the same paper pattern. So what I said, I every year check the paper pattern. They declare the same paper pattern. Okay. So what everybody was guessing that okay, they will keep the same paper pattern. There will be 4 sections, and the weightage of the each section they had mentioned in their information brochure. But what students did that day, I show you. This quantitative aptitude CD to the till CD 2020, the breakup of this quantitative aptitude supposed to be your quant where maths were 20 questions, okay, DI were around 20 questions, okay, 5 questions on number series and 5 question on data comparison. Like that, approximate that 50 question breakup was there. So what many students used to follow the strategy, they will say, okay, for 20 questions, why should do so much maths? I'll not do maths at all. I will do some DI part, which is more calculation part. I will do number series, data comparison, and I'll score the marks. That is their strategy. That is not a good strategy. Though we always stress on that you cannot skip an entire area for an option. But still, students used to follow that. Okay, why should study hard? Or they used to do a limited topping in con. Fine. Now, CD 2021, despite they mentioning this complete paper pattern, what actually came in the exam was this. Can you see that? Can you see that part? So where the students were expecting a 20 questions in maths, can you see here? You can see this content. They were 46 questions in maths. No data interpretation, no data sufficiency, no data comparison. But look at a slot 2, 78 and 9, there were 87 questions in maths. So somebody ignored the math saying that it's only 20 questions, considering the previous pattern. Suddenly the 87 questions are there. He lost that game. He cannot score more marks because he has not prepared for that area. So here can you see the 64 marks. So there were two major changes. One, they did not, I'm talking C 2021, that is 5 years back I'm talking about. They did not stick to their paper pattern. Okay, the breakup, what is the weightage of the area, they did not stick to that. Secondly, the paper was jumbled. I mean, there were no sections. Your question number 1 was logic, question number 2 is English, question number 3 is maths. Like that entire 200 question paper was jumbled. In non-verbal reasoning, there were many new types of questions were asked. In non-verbal reasoning, many new types of questions were asked, which never earlier asked in the exam. Fine. So like that, it was a very surprise paper for the students. Okay. Then what happened after the result? Many students filed litigations against the exam conducting body that this is not correct and so everything, but nothing happened that year. The result was against the students. So what happened next year? Again, they declared the same paper pattern. So again, students were saying, okay, last year, so we expected that last year students went to court. Okay, uh, there must be issue now. They must have learned this is the paper pattern because this is a new testing agency was there. So this year it will be proper smooth. But what we realize is in the second year also they had the same thing. That the entire paper was jumbled. No sections followed. Is 2022. Okay. In fact, what I'm saying, there were again the weightage was not maintained. Okay, in fact, despite students going in court last year, next year they did not maintain the same weightage of the paper. Okay, so that 21-20 was a horrible year to for the students because they prepared with a certain strategy. 2023, there were no sections specifically mentioned. All 1 to 200 questions were in a line, but they maintained the paper pattern. Can you see here? 50 questions. But can you see the maths weightage has gone up? 35 questions. Then this is approximately, look at here, 75 questions. And this abstract reasoning, 25 questions. And your English is around 50 questions. They perfectly maintain that weightage. Okay, that breakup of the marks they maintain properly. But they did not follow, again, a sections. The paper was not jumbled, but question number 1 to 50 were of con, for example, I'm saying. But they did not mention as a quantitability section. Fine. But what happened in 2024, everything was proper. The proper 4 sections were there. They maintained that paper pattern they followed that paper pattern properly. But what happened that year? In that year, few students, instead of 150 minutes, instead of 2.5 hours, their paper was of 3 hours. In 2024, instead of 1.5 hour paper, the paper was of 2023 or 24. I don't remember the exact year. I think 2023 probably or 24 probably. So they did not maintain the that 2.5 hours part. Somebody got 3 hours, somebody got 2.5 hours. So at certain centers, when they realize, okay, students is getting 3 hours, some students are getting 3 hours, They stopped the paper after 2.5 hours. But at some centers, students got 3 hours fully. So what they did, they published a list of the students who got 3 hours, okay, and they said we'll conduct a re-exam for you. Okay. So I'm telling you the complete history of CD, what's happening in these 5 years. Okay. CD 2025 is a complete breakup of your paper pattern. Now, this was a smooth exam. Okay. No issues at all. Paper pattern is proper sections are there, proper time is given. Your interface was very, very smooth and everything. So I don't have a data of all the slots. So whatever data I have of all the slots, I'm giving you that one. Now, one thing can you notice from CD 2024 and 25? Look at it, these are 24. Can you see the maths weightage has considerably gone up? Till CD 2020, CD was known for the less amount of maths part. So out of 50 question, 20 question used to be maths part. Now out of 50, here look at 40 questions are maths. Here 46 questions of maths. Here all 50 questions are of maths. I'm going a last to last year paper pattern. Is that okay? Now that will help you to understand that I cannot say that maths is for lesser weightage now. Okay, maths is for slightly higher weightage, because if it is 50 questions out of 200, it's considerably good weightage in maths. Okay. However, you can see analytical puzzle weightage. Okay, in the old CDs, let's say CD 2020, the analytical puzzle weightage was as high as 40 marks. That has reduced. Here I can see just 8 marks. Okay, here I can see 20 to 26 marks. Okay, so the slot wise also the weightage is not fixed, it's fluctuating. However, the critical reasoning weightage, which earlier used to be 12, 13 marks, has drastically reduced. At some slot, it is 0 marks. Okay, abstract reasoning is constant 25, 25, 25, 25. However, in abstract reasoning, they introduce a very new types of questions. Okay, reading comprehension weightage, look at your vocab weightage has gone up here 20, 32, 27, 34 compared to the grammar weightage. RC weightage, see, this data is not available with me. That's why I kept it blank. Fine. This is CD 2024. More or less, I'll find the same thing in CD 2025 also. Look at CD 2025, last year paper. Can you see here maths is 40 questions. Here maths are 50 questions, 50 questions. So entire full section is maths, no DI, no DS in some slots. However, analytical puzzles have a considerable weightage here. Look at same 20 to 25 range. Analytical reasoning has 40 to 50 range. Critical reasoning is very less weightage. But last year I observed in few slots you can see the reading comprehension weightage has gone up. Is that okay? Grammar weightage continues to be low. Vocab around half the weightage here, and verbal ability slightly less weightage. Fine. So this breakup will help you to understand which area has a what weightage. There is no guarantee that the same breakup or same weightage will continue in the 2026, because CD internally topic wise there is no weightage given. So you can't. It might happen that RC can go down in weightage and grammar can go up in weightage. That can also happen. So this is just to have an idea. When I'm preparing, you should have an idea. Okay, these are the areas having the higher weightage comparing the last 2 years. These are the areas having the lower weightage comparing the last 2 years. So that will help me to prepare better. Is that fine? Okay. Now, what I suggest you on our website. So you visit our website, that is uh, time4education.com, www.time4education.com. So this is how the page will open up, right? On this page, can you see this test analysis? If you click on this test analysis part, you will get the complete analysis of each year slot. And it will be a detailed analysis. So here I've just mentioned the quantitative ability 50 questions. They'll get a complete breakup among those 50 questions. How many questions were of simple equations? How many question ratio proportion? How many questions percentages, profit and loss? That entire complete breakup you'll get it in that CET breakup. Is that okay? So I'll suggest you to go to our time website and just click on this. Here you will get a complete breakup of a complete analysis of last 10 years, 12 years CD papers. Fine. So I'll suggest you just go to the last 3 years paper. That will be sufficient to have idea what types of questions they're asking you. Fine. So I'm not showing you this right now because this is not a 5-minute task. You take up some time, at least 1 hour, 1.5 hours you spend understanding the analysis, what types of questions were asked. Okay. Let me move ahead now. Okay. Now, before jumping to the how to prepare part, as I ask you one question that CET is easy exam or CET is a difficult exam. Fine. Now I just give you stats. I have a date of CET 2020, but more or less these numbers are valid for previous year also. Okay. So CET 2020, the number of students, why I'm using a CET 2020, because that was officially declared data. So last year data is not available with anyone. CET 2020, around 1,10,631 students appeared for the exam. Okay. Now, I want you to guess how many students, okay, whatever image of CET you have. Suppose I'm saying a top college is Jamnalal Bajaj and top college cutoff is 145 marks approximately. Top college cutoff is 145 marks. If the top number one college cutoff is 145 marks, how many students could have scored more than 100 marks? That is 50% score. Your total is 200 marks. So 100 marks is a 50% score. What do you think? How many would have scored more than 50% score? 100 marks. Any random guesses you can have? Okay. Now, whatever number is in your mind, out of 1,10,000, 50% score and above, how many students are there? Let me give the exact number. Only 4,320 students scored more than 100 or more than 100 marks in CET 2020 out of 1,10,000. So approximately not even 4% people, less than 4% people. Okay, approximately less than 4% people scored less than 50% more than 50% marks. So 4% students are only managed to get 50% marks. So is the CET difficult now? The question mark is then, is the CET difficult? No, the top college cutoff is not that 100 marks plus are 4,000 students. So top college cutoff was not 110 or 120. Your JBIMS cutoff was 145 at that point of time. So that means what? CET, I will say, if I'm looking for as an exam, I'll say it's a easy to moderate exam. But CET, if you want to crack CET, CET is not about the smart work. CET is more about the hard work because it's a speed-based exam. Fine. Out of in 200, if I say 150 questions, you're supposed to, sorry, reverse way, 200 questions, you're supposed to attempt in 150 minutes. So you will not get even, if I divide 150 minutes by 200 questions, you'll get around 45 seconds for one question. So even if I decide I'll attempt 150 questions, still you will get only one question per minute. So CET is a lengthy paper. So many students complain every year, okay, it's a lengthy paper. So paper was okay, paper was not difficult, but it was very lengthy. Okay. So if you want to crack CET, there are two things. One, you should definitely have a subject knowledge, but along with the subject knowledge, speed is the key. It's a speed-based exam. Speed is the key. Okay. So that's why I said you require a lot of hard work to crack the CET exam. So I know how to solve the question is not sufficient. How fast I can solve the question, that is very, very important. Fine. So if I take the two students who are equally intelligent, let's say they're 10, 12, graduation percentage almost same, and the aptitude level is also same. So if I talk about the two students A and B, if A is doing a more practice and B, let's say, doing a lesser practice, definitely A will score better than B. In fact, being a mentor, I have lot of cases where a student is very average student. So when I talk about, okay, if he knows the concept, okay, concepts are average, he he's academics are average, but he's doing a lot of hard work for the exam and he has cracked the exam. He got into top colleges because CD requires a hard work. Speed is the key. Fine. So before doing your preparation part, I'm just giving you this idea that Your competition is not among those one between those with those 1,10,000 students. Your competition is around 4 to 5,000 people only who will be probably crossing 100 marks. Okay. And if you're giving those who are the time students, if you're giving the first mock CD, probably you would have realized, okay, what is my first mock CD score? So you have idea, okay, this is the range I'm getting this course now. So if you want to reach around that 145 to 150 target, then you need to really prepare hard in these remaining, work hard in these remaining 3 months. So how to prepare? I'm going to give you a very, very basic roadmap today. Okay. So as I said, first you keep in mind you should do enough practice of solving question. As I mentioned, with the average subject knowledge also you can go to high marks if you do a regular practice. Reverse way, you have a good subject knowledge, but if you don't do regular practice, you will realize that in exam I'm able to solve the question, but my speed is not quite high to attempt more number of questions. Fine. So what are the I generally classify the preparation stages into 6 parts. First, you understanding the basics, solving the practice material, online sectional test, MCT and SAM-CDs, speed versus accuracy analysis, finalizing the strategy part. Fine. Okay. Now, here the students who are attending this session are the mix of time students also, non-time students also. So when I'm discussing further, I will tell you what you're supposed to do. For the time students, I've given you some references of material also. Okay, you can refer this material for this particular part. Fine. So look at these three areas. These three areas will go simultaneously. Understanding the basics, solving practice material, online sectional test. Fine. So for example, let's say as we're discussing a lot about a con part, I take one particular topic. Let's say I take a topic like in maths as time and distance. Okay. So how I'm supposed to prepare for time and distance part? So for example, time and distance, first I should understand the basics. So those who have joined classes, the faculty will cover all the basics in the class. So time and distance, what is the basics? Okay, what is the formula for speed? What are the units used? From kilometer per hour, how can I convert to meter per second? Okay, what is average speed? What is relative speed? How to solve the questions where trains are crossing the other objects or trains are crossing each other? Boats and streams question, how to solve? Linear race questions, circular race questions, all those basics. Okay, if you have joined classes, we'll cover those things in classes. Okay, those who are non-time students or you haven't joined the classes yet, so whatever material you have, I always suggest time is the best material because we update the material every year. So from whichever material you have, you do these all these topics. What are the syllabus of that part? Now syllabus is not predefined. It is that we have observed this exam for more than 20 years, so we know, okay, what are the types of questions asked and what are the content covered in those questions. So you do those basics of that topic. Now, when I'm doing these basics, I'm trying to understand the topics, that how to solve the questions in that topics. That's the first stage. Then second stage is what? Suppose now you understood the basics of that topic. Are you able to solve this question on your own? So I will suggest at least practice 50 questions of that topic. Apart from whatever questions you did understand the basics, at least solve 50 questions of each topic. Okay. Now, when you're solving these 50 questions, you'll realize that, okay, you're able to solve around 25, 30 questions on your own. Still, there are 20 questions you're not able to solve. Okay. You can refer the solution book. Okay. How in the solution those questions are solved. Even after that, you'll realize, okay, there are 5, 10 questions are there. Even after looking at a solution, I'm not understood. Those are your doubts. So you get your doubts clear with your mentors so that I know how to handle the questions in that area well. But these stage 1 and stage 2, both these stages, I'm doing without time limit, but exam is with time limit. So we suggest you should take the online sectional test. You should take a test on a topic. You have prepared a time and distance topic, take an online sectional test on a topic. That I know all the basics, I know how to solve the questions, but can I produce a good score in the limited amount of time? Take the online sectional test for that. You're getting my point? So this will go on till the time you do all the topics in your syllabus. So whether it's a con, whether it's a RC, whether it's a logic part or critical reasoning, any area you take, these stages will go on for every area. So what are those stages? Understand the basics well, practice at least 50 questions of each topic, online sectional test. Fine. So this will go on. Fine. Now, after that, somewhere, look at, now it's already the month of Jan going on. So generally many people have already started their preparation from June. They might have covered a considerable amount of syllabus. Even somebody is saying, okay, I'll start now. Still, you have enough time to prepare for it. But as I'm doing topic wise, exam is not topic wise. Exam is a full syllabus exam, 4 section exam. So we expect you to give MCDs and SAMCDs, that is all Maharashtra mock CDs and self-administered mock CDs. Okay. So what is all Maharashtra mock CDs? All Maharashtra mock CDs are basically, let's say for example, we are conducting this CD course in Maharashtra. So we have centers in all the cities. So we have centers in Mumbai, Pune, Nasik, Nagpur, Amravati, Kolhapur, Solapur. Fine. So many places in Maharashtra we have the centers. So all the students in these centers will appear for this test, and you'll get a score among out of that 200 full syllabus paper it will be. Now, why it is important to give the MCD? Because as I said, in CET you don't get the actual mark score, you get a percentile score. Percentile score means what? Percentage of the students who have scored less than you. So when you give that MCD part, you will come to know where do I stand in the terms of percentile part. So when I say my percentile is 95 percentile, means what? 95% people have scored less than me. I am among the top 5% people. So that will give the idea where do I stand among the time students in Maharashtra. And let me tell you, not only these MCDs are given for Maharashtra student outside Maharashtra also give these test series. Why? Because there's an all India quota in which outside Maharashtra student also can apply through CET. So those students also appear for these CET exams. Okay. So if you're let's say you already started your preparation, so as I say, you're not started your preparation, so we have many online courses going on, offline courses going on. So you can contact your nearest time center. They'll guide you on the when the batch is starting for which courses. At the same time, if suppose you already prepared or you appeared for last year and you want to take only test series, you can go for this MCDs and SAMCDs part. Fine. What are SAMCDs? It is again a full syllabus paper, but here this paper you can give as per your convenience. For MC, the schedule is fixed. Okay, so that particular dates are fixed till that April, first week of April. So only on that dates you are supposed to take the MCD. SAMCD you can take as per your convenience. Now here all together you'll get, this is 12, this is 13. All together you'll get 25 papers. Please understand, 25 papers, every paper has 200 questions. That will give you 5,000 questions. So even if you just solve the all MCDs and CDC, SAM CDs, you'll be covering 5,000 questions. Fine. So that part we'll discuss in detail, MCD, SAM CDs, how analysis, everything. Next part is the speed versus accuracy analysis. And last part is finalizing strategy. Fine. So these are your stages. Now, what I suggest you that what you should do during each stages, I just give you in brief. Okay. So look at CT on 26. If I'm considering just 3 months left, my suggestion is stage 1, 2, 3 means finishing your complete syllabus. You'll take first 60 days. Okay. Those who are just going to start now, you might take more than 60 days because I say CET being a 200 question exam. Okay. That there are many subtopics are there. So to cover, even if you decide to cover one topic per day, still 60 days are not sufficient. You require slightly more than 60 days if you're going to just start now. Okay, it is possible. I said it is very much possible that you can crack CD now, but you need to put a more number of hours of preparation. Stage 4. Stage 4 is what? Your MCD, SAMCD. That is already started. That is already started. So irrespective of the amount of preparation you have done, you should not miss any MCD. So I said this is the last 90 days. So it is an ongoing process. Every week you will be taking the one test. This speed versus accuracy analysis, as you're giving this test, in last 60 days, you can do that speed versus accuracy analysis. And last 20 days before the exam, you can finalize your strategy. So what is the strategy and all that part? I'll explain you that part. Is that okay? So this is a rough idea I have given. Now look at somebody, let's say somebody's, let's say, sir, I have graduated. I'm not working. Okay, I have the whole day for a preparation. So probably instead of 60 days, he might finish everything in 40 days also. Okay, same way. But these other parts will take some time because analysis, test, for example, you can't finish all the tests in 30 days. But MCT, every week there'll be one MCT. Every week we should take one SAM series. So if I want to cover 25 papers of 200 questions, you'll definitely take 90 days for that. Fine. Now let me go in detail. Instead of that general GAN, which everybody gives you, I'll go in I'll discuss about a very pinpoint part what you should exactly prepare in your content, right? So that will help you for a preparation. So under these things I already discussed, I just quickly go through. So you understand the basics, you go through the basics, make a note of important rules, concepts. Do not worry about the speed at this stage. When you're solving the practice material, my suggestion is what? Again, there is no speed and time limit, but you try to work on the options when you're solving the material. When you're after understanding the basics, when you're just solving the questions, there are no marks for the method, there are marks for the right answer. So can you work from the options? For example, let's say the question ask is, in a class, 2/7 of the students are boys. In the class, 2/7 of the students are boys, and they give some more information, and they're asking the question, what is the number of students in the class? What is the number of students in the class? So what you need to understand, number of students should be divisible by 7. Number of students should be divisible by 7. It might happen that in option, there are only one option which is divisible by 7. Or there are two options which are divisible by 7. You work on the one option. If that satisfies your condition, that is the answer. If that doesn't satisfy your condition, the other is the answer. So without proper making the equations, you can solve the questions if you work on the options part. So my suggestion is you work on the options part. Also, if you solve a particular question, you feel, okay, oh, this is a very different question, a different kind of method is used, or different kind of concept is used to solve this question, you just mark that as star. So you find, okay, this is a very important question, very different kind of question, mark 3 star, mark 4 star, like that. So 5 star means what? It's a best question, good concept, good difficulty level, and the better way of solving the question. So you mark that way. Fine. Also, as I said, you mark the important question. Also, you make the questions so that when you're going to revise the at the end, so you can't revise all the questions again. So that's why I say, okay, you mark the difficult questions. Okay, this was a difficult question. Okay, I can uh, solve that later. Okay, or when I'm revising that part, that will help me to revise that question faster rather than revising all the easy questions. Okay, online sectional test we have discussed. Okay, this is for the time students. We are just saying that our online sectional part tests are divided into 3 parts. One is a topic wise. Okay, every topic is an online sectional test. Intermediate tests are what? They are basically 2-3 topics combined. So let's say simple equation, ratio, proportion combined, one test. Percentage, profit and loss, SICI combined, one test. So those are the intermediate tests. And advanced tests are basically the complete section wise test, complete quant section test, complete English section test, complete non-verbal listening section test. So like that, those tests are divided, just for info. Okay. Now, let me go for that area-wise preparation now. So let me start with the quant area because many students find that area difficult. Okay. Now, first I suggest in quant, uh, particularly I have CD student when I interact, I found that their school level basics are not very strong. And as this is a speed-based exam, the exam is not very difficult exam, but what matters is the speed, how fast you can solve the question. So you should know certain school level basics. There is no second thought about it. We have discussed in the classroom part also many times. A faculty might have guided you. These things you must know part. Let me quickly cover that part. Okay. So what is the must know part in that? This is before you starting the con preparation. I'm not talking about any topic. I'm talking about these are the school level basics I should know before starting your maths preparation. The first is what? I should know all the tables till 30. I should know the squares up to 30. I should know the cubes up to 15. I should know the reciprocal values up to 16. Okay. 2 raised to 1 to 2 raised to 12, I need to know. Values of 3 raised to 1 to 3 raised to 8, I need to know. 5 raised to 1 to 5 raised to 8 values I should know. And 7 raised to 1 to 7 raised to 4 values I need to know. I just give a simple example. Say that day I was taking a class. So in one of the class, the class was number series topic. So what I did there, I did not explain them any basics. I said, okay, I give you a series. Can you tell me which is the next number in the series? And I give the numbers something like to them. I give the number, let's say, 729, okay, then 1000 and 1331 and 2197. Not 2197, 1278. I just write it. 1331 and 1728. Right? And I say, what is the next number in the series? What is the next number in the series? So when I gave sometimes one student said, I know the answer. I said, okay, you keep quiet. I asked the other students, okay. After some time, few other students also raised the hand. But many students were not able to answer this question. Then I gave them another data. I say, this is 9 cube. This is 10 cube. This is 11 cube. And this is 12 cube. Now can you tell me the next number? Now they said, okay, next number is 13 cube. But please understand, if you don't identify 1728 as 12 cube, okay, or if you don't identify 1331 as 11 cube, I cannot answer this question. But if I know cubes till 15, as I said, you should know cubes till 15. This answering this question will not take more than 15-20 seconds also, right? And that's what I'm trying to highlight here. Okay, you're solving a question. You came across a stage, okay, x square is equal to 841. What is the x value? 841 is a square of which number? You ask yourself. If I know that part, I know x value. If I don't know that part, if I know, okay, this is a 29 square, so your x value is 29. But if I don't know 29 square is 841, even if I have solved the question properly, at the last stage, I can't get the answer. Okay, so you must know all these values very well. For your reference, I'm going to show you these values on the screen. You can take a screenshot of that and regularly read these values 3 times in a day. Within 15-20 days, you will mug up all the values. Okay, so I give a rule something like that. Whenever you eat something, 5 minutes give to read these values. So if you're going to take you're going to have a 3 meals in a day, read these values 3 times. You're going to have a 4 meals in a day, read these values 4 times. Within 15-20 days, all values you'll know by heart. Okay, so I'm just giving the squares. You can take a screenshot later. So these are the squares till 30. These are the cubes till what I'm saying, 15. Now these are the values also I know. 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, till 2 raised to 12 is 4096. So these values also I must know. 3 raised to 1 is 3, 3 square is 9, 3 cube is 29, 27, till 3 raised to 8 is 6561. Okay, all these values are required. Okay. Okay. Last part which I need to know. This is I'm saying before you starting your maths preparation. I am not talking about any topic. I'm just saying these are the must know part before starting your maths preparation. I should know the reciprocals. Half means 50%. 1 by 3 means 33.33%. 1 by 4 means 25%. 1 by 5 is 20%. Like that till 1 by 16 is 6.25%. Okay. So I must know all these values very well. Fine. Fine. Okay. Now where these values will be useful. Fine. As I said, knowing these values will help you to handle number series questions. Okay, knowing these values will help you to handle number series questions efficiently. Okay, I mentioned earlier you read 3 to 4 times in a day. you'll remember all the values after 15 days. Okay. Those who are time student, we have one book which is SM1161804. Now this book is going to cover you all school level basics. So whatever basics I'm going to discuss further also, all those basics are covered in this book. Okay. So please solve that book before starting your maths preparation. There is no topic in that book. This is all school level basics are covered in that. Fine. Next. Now, must know part. What is the other school level part I should know? I should know the rules of indices. I should know identities, summation rules, simultaneous equation solving. I'll come to that part. Quadratic equation solving and BODMAS rules. These things I must know. Okay. So I go one by one. Rules of indices. Look at these are the rules of indices. We'll have a separate chapter indices a topic also, but in other areas also indices rules are used. So a raised to m into a raised to n is a raised to m plus n. All these indices rules I must know very well. Next, look at these identities I should know. A plus b the whole square, a minus b the whole square, a plus b the whole cube, a minus b the whole cube. All these things we have discussed at school level. Okay, so all identities I must know. Here in the last rule, a cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3abc is a plus b plus c. A square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus c. I should know this formula also. And I should know another rule as what? If a plus b plus c is 0, then we have a rule a cube plus b cube plus c cube is equal to 3abc. So question has been asked based on this concept in various exams. Fine. So all these identities I must know. Look at summation rule. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus up to n. What is the formula for addition? 1 square, 2 square till n square. What is addition formula? 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube. What is the till n cube? What is the sum of the numbers? Sum of the first n odd natural numbers is n square. Sum of the first, this is n odd, this is n even. I've written there odd only. Sum of the first n even natural numbers is n into n plus 1. Okay, so I must know all these part very well. Okay, because these will require while solving the questions. Fine. Okay. Now, next part is what I said. I should be able to solve two simultaneous equations. For example, I give you something like this: 4x plus let's say 3y is 22, and let's say 5x plus 4y is equal to 41. Can you solve these questions, these two equations, and give me x and y? Okay, if the answer is yes, very good. You know the basics well. But somebody says, no, I'm not comfortable or takes more time for me to solving this. Practice at least 20 questions of it. Practice at least 20 questions of it. And for that, we have given you, if you're a time student, in this book, okay, in this book, there are chapter 2, question number 1 to 20 you can solve. Those are non-time students. These are simultaneous equation usually covered in 9 standard or 10 standard. So you can refer your school level 9 standard, 10 standard book and solve at least 20 questions of each. Same logic, can you solve a quadratic equation? Suppose if I give you a quadratic equation like this, 3x square plus 10x plus 8 is equal to 0. Can you solve and give me the value of x? If your answer is yes, I can solve and get the value of x. Very good. If your answer is so, sometimes I get the answer correct, sometimes I get it wrong. Fine. Can you practice at least 25, 30 questions of solving a quadratic equation? Those who are time students, in this book, you'll find question number 1 to 50 based on solving this quadratic equation. These are for the practice only. Those are non-time students, I'll say again, you'll find generally 9 standard, 10 standard. You must have studied your quadratic equations. Take any book or your state board book also you can take. Solve at least 25, 30 questions of quadratic equation practice. That's more than enough. Nobody will ask you to solve and give the value of x over here. It's a part of your solution. That you need to understand. You're solving a question on progression topic where you frame the equation, which is a quadratic equation, and then you have to get the value of x. Fine. So this everything, I have not yet started with the topic wise preparation. This is everything before you starting your uh, con preparation, topics. Fine. Let's talk about the con. Once you do all these school level basics, then one more thing I don't mention here is that I should be able to find LCM and HCF also. If two numbers are given, can you find LCM, HCF orally? Because if you take a time like a topic like a ratio proportion, time and distance, time and work, or numbers topic, you require LCM, HCF. Okay. So quant area, look at, as I said, CET was considered to be uh, less quant exam, but after CET 2020, after CET 2021, the quant weightage is high, and it can go as all out of entire section could be of a maths, no DI, no DS. It can happen in that way. Fine. So you should be prepared for that part. Second thing, please understand, there is no passing marks. So your competition is with the students. Many students, I'll say, who have a quant as a comfortable area or a strong area. So suppose somebody has done a school level basics very well. Okay, it's not a very high level quant. It's a very school level quant only. But somebody had done a maths very well at a school level. For him, that quant is comfortable area. So ultimately, you have to beat that person and you have to score a higher marks. So there is no excuse for it. Fine. So I suggest quant required the higher amount of preparation. Be prepared for that. Okay. Generally, students say, okay, I will do only 5 topics. I will do only 10, the 7 topics. I will not do the other topics. That strategy doesn't work very well because you don't know which topic will have how many questions. It might happen that, okay, I prepared arithmetic well and I was expecting around 20 questions on arithmetic, but it might happen arithmetic had only 5 questions. Then your entire strategy is at a stake and you end up scoring the lower marks. Fine. Those who are time student, as I mentioned earlier, first you install your QAHO handouts, okay, so that you will be able to attempt the maximum number of questions that it will cover all types of questions which has been asked in actual CD. So conceptually you are prepared. So all QHO handouts are covering all conceptual basics very well. Those who are non-time students, I will suggest you join time. Second, you arrange some material from where you can prepare all these basics very well. Okay. For more confidence in con, as I said, you have to practice. Stage 1 is understanding basics. So stage 2 is practice material. So this is the practice material for time students. Okay. Also, you need to practice data sufficiency. Though data sufficiency is not very frequently asked now, but they might ask you, they have asked data sufficiency questions. So data sufficiency is just a format. Okay. So you need to practice this data sufficiency also. So time students, I'll say DSHO and DSP handouts you solve. Other students who are non-time students, I'll say you practice data sufficiency questions of quant as well as logic area also. As I'm discussing here quant, I'm talking about quant area, but data sufficiency questions can be asked in logic area also. Fine. So that is your quant preparation part. What are the topics you need to prepare in quant? These are the topics you need to prepare in quant. So our classroom handouts are covering all the basics required for these topics. So conceptually, if you just solve the QHO, conceptually you have prepared everything. But at the same time, you have to solve the books also for practice more. Fine. Other students, you need to practice, solve all these areas. All these areas you need to prepare. So can you go through the areas which I mentioned? Can you go through the list of these topics? Fine. So I have prepared this list after going through all the papers properly. Okay, so you can see I have included topics like clocks also, calendars also. Okay, so questions are based on that area also. See, you'll find the question based on progressions also, but the level of difficulty is not that high as in the other exams. Questions are asked on progressions also. So I've included progression. There's been question asked on approximations also. Okay, so all the topics after going through all the CD papers of last 5 years, I've prepared this list of topics. Okay, so that will help you to have a I see CET has not anywhere mentioned this is a syllabus. This I have prepared by going through all the papers. Fine. Let's move to the data interpretation. Now, first of all, I'm not sure whether data interpretation will appear in my slot or not, because you realize that in some slot they're asking data interpretation questions, some slot are not asking any questions on data interpretation. Data interpretation is a part of that quantitative aptitude area only. So if the all 50 questions are of maths, you'll have a zero DI part. But you don't need to worry. Those are particularly appeared for CAT and worried about a DI. DI in CET is very, very simple. Simple kind of data is given and they're asking the question based on that. Okay. So what I need to know is I should be able to do the calculations properly. So questions are all more about understanding graphs, charts, table. You'll find a question based on caselets also. As I said, calculation is the key. There is no calculator allowed, but questions are all calculation based. But it's not very high level calculation also. You can definitely manage that, but you should be able to do some basic amount of calculation. So we conduct a session named as Speed Maths. In this handout, we have covered all those calculation techniques, percentage related calculation. Those you revise this handout. Time student, you just revise this handout. Your calculation part is sorted. What other student who are not time student, you need to know the three areas you should practice. You should be able to find a percent of B approximately. So what I want to find out 73% of 2879. I don't need this accurate calculation. I need an approximate calculation. You should be able to convert fraction into percentages. 483 is what percentage of 785? This is how many percent? Approximate value I should be able to find. Find a percentage increase or decrease. 3725 to 4389. What is the percentage increase in these two values? Okay, so these kind of question you need to practice in the calculation terms. Okay, so generally look at calculation is not a part that, okay, I studied that QHO on day one and now from that day one I'm able to do the calculations. That's not going to happen. You need to practice it regularly. So I generally suggest you daily practice 10 questions. Even if I do it for 15-20 days, I'll get a hold of the calculations part. If you're a time student, then you can practice these questions from this book. There are enough practice exercises for calculations are there. For other students, I say, okay, you take any example. You don't need any book for it. You say A percent of B. You take a random number. Okay, can I find 42% of 7356? Find it approximately. Find this answer on a calculator and check. Are you close to the answer or not? Take any number 352 upon 789. How many percent? You find approximately, check it on a calculator. You don't really need a book for it. Okay, so daily 10 questions you practice, you will get a hold of the calculation after 15-20 days. Fine. Now, if I look at a past CD paper, I'm not going to last 5 years. If I look at a last 10 years paper, there are certain kind of DI sets are asked, which are based on the conceptual part. Means what? They will give you percentage, a data where the percentage increase is given, a data where the percentage profit is given, a data where the difference between the mark price and cost price is given. So to understand those questions, I should know the basics of the two topics. That is, one is the percentage part, other is the profit and loss part. So if I know the basics of these topics, then I can handle the all types of questions in data interpretation. Okay. So for DI handouts, again, you can practice this. I suggest at least, for example, I said at least you should practice approximately 50 sets minimum. Though DI weightage is not very high, including handouts and books, at least practice 50 sets of DI. Okay. I'm not pushing more on DI part because DI weightage is not that high considering the last couple of years paper. It can change at any point of time. They can ask you DI for 30 questions. Okay. So that may happen. Fine. So if you want to practice, you can solve DIHO, DEX and DAT handout. At the time, this is the book from where you can practice the DI sets. Fine. Now let's move to the logical part. Now logical reasoning part, a section I divided into three parts. One is the analytical puzzles. second is analytical reasoning, and third is a critical reasoning part or verbal reasoning part. So in analytical puzzles has a considerable weight, around 22 to 24 marks. Analytical puzzles are there. So almost one third weightage of logic section is analytical puzzles. So if I've studied all the papers, what I have found, these are the types of questions they're frequently asking: linear arrangement, circular arrangement, box and floor arrangement, comparison, distribution. At the same time, you'll find a con based reasoning also. I did not see any question based on a binary logic kind of questions. They have asked the questions on the other areas, but not in like they asked the question on cubes part, but cubes are not included analytical puzzles part. So this area will approximately have 22 to 24 questions. So important area. So for each topic, my suggestion is at least practice 50 questions. From every topic, at least practice 50 questions minimum. You have more time, you practice more questions, but at least 50 questions you practice from each area. But this is an important area. And this is apart from the mock papers you're going to solve. Okay. Next, analytical reasoning. Now, which are the 8 topics to be covered in analytical reasoning part? Okay. Complete list I've given you. Blood relations, directions. These two are very important. In fact, blood relations is a very favorite of CT nowadays. Blood relations, direction sense, symbols and notations, coding, decoding, number and letter series, analogies and odd man out, okay, deductions, input and output, decision making. I'll not say that important because I haven't seen many questions in recent years on decision making. Clocks and calendars important, frequently they're asking the questions. Venn diagrams questions are asked. Cubes and dice are asking the questions, and lot of miscellaneous kind of questions are asking you. Okay, so if you appear for 1 or 2 mock papers of CT, you will realize which are the areas I'm talking about. Those who haven't studied yet anything or started anything yet, you will not identify what I'm talking about. Input output means what, you will not understand that part. But once you study that topic, you realize, okay, it's an easy topic, but a good variety of questions has been asked in exam. Fine. So this is a complete syllabus for your logical reasoning area. So you can go through that part. Okay. So first area was analytical puzzles. These analytical puzzles, first area around 22 to 24 questions. Analytical reasoning, high weightage, around 40 questions. Okay. And around 7 to 10 questions on your critical and verbal reasoning areas. So these are the all areas covered under the critical and verbal reasoning area. Weightage is not that high, but in certain slot the questions have been asked. We can see as 11 questions has been asked. So statements and assumptions, statements and conclusions, probably true, probably false, course of action, strong and weak argument, cause and effect, assertion and reasons. These are the areas I need to cover in logical reasoning areas. Again, after studying all the papers, I've just listed out these areas. Okay. Look at abstract reasoning. Now look at abstract reasoning is the area where the maximum changes have happened in the terms of types of questions asked. Okay. So the typical type of CD, if you look at the overall, still the maximum weightage is of series, analogy, odd even out. Under series also, 5-figure series, 5-figure missing series, 7-figure series not ask questions, but they mention as a type of question, but question is not asking CD. 4-figure analogy, similar pair, odd man out, dissimilar pair. These are your typical type of CD questions. But in last 5 years, many new types of questions are asked. But if I look at the last 2 years paper, the new types of questions are not more than 6-7 questions. So maximum questions of these typical types, series, analogy, odd man out. But still, I'll say it's a moderate area. Many students start with as a strategy, they start with this area. Many students out of 25, they easily score 22, 21 marks out of these 25 questions. So these type of question you need to practice. Again, this area required a considerable amount of practice. It's a new area. You haven't done this area at school level. So you definitely require a good amount of practice. So I suggest you solve maximum questions of this area as much as high possible. Okay, I don't want to restrict solve 50 questions or 100 questions. Whatever material you have available with you, solve all the questions on that, because it will take time, particularly series questions, to get accuracy correct. Accuracy, high accuracy in series question will take more time. Fine. So I'll suggest you practice all those areas as much as possible. Let's look at the last area, that is a verbal ability. Now in verbal ability, what are the areas covered? The verbal ability is a full section I'm talking. One is a reading comprehension, important area. Grammar, all types. Generally you get a question based on those error spotting kind of question. Vocab being the, what I'm saying, important area in CD now. And parajumble questions also you'll get on that. So as a syllabus is concerned, this is the syllabus you have. Again, those who are weak in verbal ability, because I found many students, they're good at logic, good at con, but they don't really get a good score in verbal ability. Please practice enough amount of questions. Also give as much as mocks as possible. Because why mocks will help you? Because you give more and more number of mocks, you'll come to know that which are the areas you're getting right. So that will help you if you want to attempt a limited amount of portion from that section, which area should attempt first, which area should attempt last. That analysis you can do on the basis of your mock papers. Is that okay? Let me move ahead now. Now, your fourth stage is the mock CT. Now, please understand how I'm supposed to take a mock paper. Okay, because whether you are a time student, non-time student, please understand uh, what is the purpose of the mock paper. First of all, you cannot predict a paper. Okay, that okay, last year the paper was like this was a breakup of question, next year also the same breakup will come. That's not going to happen. Fine, some or the other changes will definitely happen in the terms of breakup of the marks, also in the terms of types of questions also. So when we are designing these mock CDs, okay, what we are doing, we are studying the past papers, and every mock paper we are trying to replicate one of the actual CD exam. Also, certain papers are okay. What if this type of first paper comes? Students should be prepared for that. So you'll find the level of difficulty varies from each mock to other mock. Also, the types of questions will also vary. Fine. So that will make you, what I'm saying, prepare for handle any type of paper in actual exam. So that's why I suggest you take all the mock papers as much as possible. So as I said, we have two types of papers. One is MCDs, which the schedule is fixed. That schedule is available on our website also. So you have to take those papers as per the exam. But let me tell you, those who are taken the first exam, you realize that okay, in the first paper, I'm not even able to attempt the 100 questions also. That might be the case for many students. That I'm not able to attempt 100. Forget about scoring 100. I'm not able to attempt 100 questions also. So my suggestion is, suppose you take the first paper, you are able to attempt only 100 questions. Still there are 100 unattempted questions are there. So those 100 unattempted questions you should solve after going home. Once your result comes, you please analyze your result. You please analyze your result, that which are the questions I should have started first. Means first you decide on the section, that shall I start with this section, shall I start with this section, and so on. So first you decide the order of the section. In that order of the section also you decide, okay, suppose you decided, okay, I'll start with a let's say I started with non-verbal reasoning. So in non-verbal reasoning, which type of question I attempt first? Should I attempt a series question first? Should I attempt the analogy question first? Okay, you decide that. You attempt start with logical reasoning question. Should I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or should I attempt the analytical puzzles first, or should I attempt the miscellaneous question first? More and more mocks you give, you will be able to answer these questions. Nobody is going to answer these questions for you. So what I need to decide before taking the mocks: one, order of the section. Second, the time I'm going to allot to that particular section. So suppose somebody says, I'm going to start with the abstract reasoning. I'm going to start with the abstract reasoning. Okay, I'll say 25 questions, I'll give 25 minutes. That's fine. Somebody said, okay, I'll solve quant area. Quant, all 50 questions I may not solve. That is more time consuming. I'll say, okay, I'll give 40 minutes. Probably I'll try to get 35 questions correct. You're getting my point? Then I'll say, okay, logic. Okay, that is my strong area. Okay, in logic, analytical puzzles are time consuming, but blood relations, decision, direction sense, easy kind of questions. So you decide what type of questions you're going to attempt, in what order you're going to attempt. And that you'll be able to decide when you take more and more number of mocks. So order, types of questions, amount of time to be given, more and more papers you take, more and more analysis you do, you'll be able to do that part. Fine. So when I'm doing the analysis, generally we do the analysis only on the one parameter. What is that one parameter? I got it right or I got it wrong. Accuracy is only parameter. But you also analyze yourself on the basis of comfortable area as well as the scoring area. For example, suppose somebody says, I'm an engineer, I feel maths comfortable. But it might happen that if you decide to attempt all 50 questions in con, it will be too much time consuming for you. So that may not be scoring area. Because out of 50, you may not get all 50 questions correct. But it might happen that, okay, you are not so good at grammar part, but it's a scoring area for you. Because at some school level, your basics are clear, you're still getting the good score in that part. So you try to differentiate between your scoring area and comfortable area. Okay. Based on your analysis, you build your strategy. Okay. That we already discussed part. Okay. Uh, as I said, you do not set your scores in the terms of marks, because CET is final scores are not in the terms of marks. It is in the terms of percentile scores. So let's say you're saying you're at a 80 percentile and you got something let's say 80 marks. So don't set for I'll score 90 marks next time. I'll say, okay, instead of 80 percentile, let's jump to 85 percentile next time, 90 percentile for next time. So you keep the target in the terms of percentile rather than in the terms of marks. Fine. Last part which I want you to do is you should do your speed versus accuracy analysis. When you give these mock papers, on the basis of that, you should do that speed versus accuracy analysis. Means what? On x-axis, I'll take speed. On y-axis, I'll take accuracy. This is your first area, which is this area. It is high accuracy, high speed. Which is this area. This is low on speed, but high on accuracy. Which is this area. It is low on speed, low on accuracy, sorry, high on speed, low on accuracy also. And this is what? Low speed, low accuracy. Okay, so what you do, I just put example. Let's say, for example, for me, let's say logic is a strong area. For example, I say logic, miscellaneous kind of blood relation kind of question. I put it like this: blood relation, blood relation question. My speed is high, my accuracy is also high. But analytical puzzles questions, my speed is low, but my accuracy is high. Okay, let's say I'm very weak at grammar part. So in grammar part, what happens? I quickly answer the question, but I'm weak in grammar, so I get the answer wrong. So this is my grammar area. It's a high speed. I answer it very quickly, but my accuracy is low. So this, you make a chart of various topics, which is my high area, high speed, high accuracy, low speed, high accuracy. You divide. I just give a rough example. Okay, this is the areas I've given you. Okay, wherever speed is the problem, you need to practice more. You're slow in that, so you need to practice more. Wherever accuracy is a problem, I'm not getting the questions right. I'm not getting questions right means what? My basics of that topic are not clear. You please revise the basics of that topic rather than practicing more. Revise the basics of that topic. So speed is a problem, practice more. Accuracy is a problem, please revise the basics. So once you divide your areas like that, this is the number one area I should prefer. I should prefer high speed, high accuracy area. This is my second choice. My speed is low, but my accuracy is high. And this is my third choice. This I'll attempt towards end, because my speed is high, because at towards end, I have to attempt the questions very quickly. So it's high speed, accuracy is low. As it is not, I'm worried about the accuracy. And this is the fourth area which I'll attempt, or probably I'll not get any time to attempt these kind of questions. I'll mark some tukkas at the end. Fine. So that is how I should analyze the paper. Based on that analysis, I should design my strategy. And please understand, all these mock papers are for experimenting the things. So let's say somebody says, okay, you tomorrow, whatever the next mock paper is, that you decide, okay, I'll start with this and this section. You decide the order of the section. It works fine for you. You fine tune it, apply the next paper. Next paper, you start with English. You feel, let's say somebody says, okay, I start with a strong area. That way you attempt one paper. Or you put it this way, okay, no, I get in pressure at the end, and I make a lot of mistake at the end. So let me start keep my strong area at the end. So which is a difficult area, I can work on at the start. Is it right, wrong? You give more number of papers and you yourself deduce, okay, this works for me. This is my strategy. And that is what I mean by the finalizing the strategy. Okay. So the people who are the high scoring people, when I talk to that, they usually go section wise. So they decide this section so many minutes, this section so many minutes, they decide the order of the section. Once they enter the section, within the section, they go serially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But their strategy is what? If I'm not getting the question, they'll read the question. If they're not getting the clue, they leave the question. So you should be very quick in taking a decision of leaving the question. See, many times what happened, if I'm getting the two questions correct, let's say question number 7 I got correct and question number 8 I got wrong. What probably happens? Question number 7 I got correct in 1 minute, but question number 8 I got wrong after working for 2 minutes. That is dangerous. That you're getting a correct in 1 minute, but even after spending 2 minutes, you're getting wrong. So you would have left that question after 30 seconds or 20 seconds after reading that question. Is that okay? So that is how we should work on that. Fine. So that's all about from my side in the terms of the preparation part. So in preparation part, I've given you the what stages of preparation. I've given you what you must do before starting a particularly quant area. I've given the all the subtopics within the area also. Also, I've given the breakup at the start. So you have idea which area is for what weightage also. So that will help you for the preparation part. Fine. So as I said earlier that we have one more seminar schedule where I'll discuss all the other things. What is CET admission process, CET distribution, what kind of documents you required for CET. That will have a next session. Also, registration process also will do one webinar on that part. Fine. So you have any questions, queries, doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, we'll end the session. So I'm waiting for your queries. You can post in the message. I can go through that. Sir, as 3 MCD mocks have already done, will it be able? I think you will be able to give, but not now, towards the end. Will be the next seminar. I think next seminar is on the, I think we will update on the website. I'm not very sure about, but probably after a week that the next seminar is there. Sapland, I'm asking in general, are the options too close like CAD? No, not really. Options are not very close. DI is very easy, I'll say. DI you cannot compare with a CAD only. This session will be available on the YouTube. Okay, I couldn't see the messages. People replied that moderate, difficult. Some people replied to my, I didn't see those messages. Okay. Is in 3 months enough to prepare for exam? Yes, enough. But a dedication preparation is required. And probably a guided preparation is required. So I'll suggest you have a proper set of classes or mentor. That will be easier for you to prepare. If you try to prepare on your own, then you might take more time, because if you take any course structure, you'll have at least 60 classes will be there minimum. Because so many topics are there in CD. Okay. I'm asking you, are the options to close that we discussed? Sir, what will be the cutoffs? As of now, it is going to be twice in a year. Is there see it is a percentile score, so I don't see any problem there. So I'll give the last year's cutoff next time. So when we'll discuss the next webinar, I'll give the cutoffs of top. I'll discuss the colleges list also. I'll discuss the PG colleges also. I'll discuss the colleges cutoff also in the next webinar. How many we should study daily? My part is, if you're starting now, daily minimum, if you're joining classes, 2 hours of classes and 4 hours of preparation. If you're not joining classes, then 6 hours on your own. To start now, which area to start first, that you decide. You should start all the areas. But I say if you're planning to start con, so before con, whatever part I said, school level basic, you prepare that first, then you start that. Okay. No issues in this part. Yeah. Any more queries? Yeah. I'm waiting for your queries. Yeah. I'm just asking reverse way. As I'm going to conduct the next session also, where I'll discuss a non-academic part. This was a more academic part because I thought I'll conduct an academic part first so that I'll get more time for preparation. Those who want to start the preparation, academic part we should start for. Non-academic part could be covered later also. So what you want, anything in the next session, you can post me that also. I'll cover that in the next session. I'm going to cover the college list. I'm going to cover the admission process. I'm going to cover the cutoffs. I'm going to cover the seat distribution. Okay. Also document list, what you need to require, how to get those documents also. Also registration process, I'll cover with that, or may have a separate session on that. So you want anything else to know for any additional books for vocab? I think we have in our material we have already covered the vocab books. Fine. So you want anything more me to cover in the next session, please do mention it. I'll try to cover that part. Yes, any queries? No issues? Okay, then I'll end the session. Yeah, sir, can you explain what should be the strategy for the second attempt in the second attempt? Okay, we'll discuss that. That's not a problem. Hello, so which one is the topic we start practice? I'll say you start with the logic part. See, there are ways to look at it. One is, okay, let me start with the logic part, which I'll understand better. Second, we look at, okay, and a maths is a 50 question area. We'll take more time for preparation. So let me start with the maths. So I'll suggest you start preparing logic, but along with the logic, you start preparing the school level basics, which I mentioned, because that school level basic will take you at least 10-12 days for preparation. Okay. Once you prepare for those school level basics, then you start with, after 15 days, you can start with the maths part. That is my suggestion. Okay. So do they ask vocab questions like what is the meaning of the see, vocab questions are asked in a variety of formats. Okay, that's why I suggest you give one mock paper. You'll realize, okay, in what types of questions has been asked. एक या कोई भी पास सीडी का पेपर देखोगे, you'll have an idea. So vocab question not generally what is the meaning of this. There will be a fill in the blanks question. There will be a similar meaning question. There will be an opposite meaning question. Vocabulary question will be an analogy format also. Okay, so the various forms their questions are asked. Okay, there is something called as a close passage. That close passage also the vocab kind of questions are asked. Okay. Okay. Revision you start with a, I'll suggest you decide, I'll say that is up to you. I generally suggest you start with the logic so that you'll build on confidence, and slowly after building your school level basics, then start revising the con part. Yes, that is going to happen, Rupesh. As I told you, na, first mock you'll score definitely less than 100 marks. There are two reasons. One, you may not have covered the full syllabus. Second, you not have practiced the enough part. So I know part will not work. How much I practice? So okay. So if I say there are, let's say if I'm just saying there are, let's say, 60 topics in CET, and if I'm saying every topic at least 50 questions I should practice. So if you practice less than 3,000 questions, your scores are going to be low only. Let's put it that way. If your answer is no, I'm not practiced 3,000 questions, your scores are supposed to be low only. You're getting? So you'll find the time, so paper very lengthy, you'll find very time consuming. Forget about scoring 100. You may not have attempted 100 also. Okay? No issues? Sure. Fine. Okay, all of you. Thank you. So please be ready with your doubts. So in the next session, we'll take your doubts also properly regarding the other part. So whatever session these things we discuss, this session will be available on your YouTube as under the live section area. So watch this session whenever you want, and whatever part I've just given in detail, instead of your general gyan, I given in detail breakup, topic list, what you should prepare, from where you should prepare, everything I've given you. So follow that. You will definitely find the process much easier after if you follow those process properly. Is that okay? Okay. Somebody asked me the question. So what is the time breakup section wise good attempt? I score 90. See that you need to decide section wise, because you give more and first you understand it. First you keep a target in terms of how many questions you'll attempt. That you pre-decide. Okay, in this area, let's say your score is in 9500 range. So next target you can keep it at 110 marks. It won't jump to 120, 130 immediately. 110 marks. So you analyze the present paper. What areas are attempted to score that 95 marks? If I want 110 marks, 15 marks, which extra questions I can attempt? From which area I can attempt? What mistakes I did in the previous paper? Where I wasted my time? So don't repeat those mistakes. Then slowly you'll improve on your score. It will not happen if with one paper 95, next paper you scored 130. That won't happen. Slowly your score will jump. Also, as I said, have you solved the enough number of questions? Because people want to ignore this practice part, but they want to scores in the mocks. That is not possible. They say, I'll not solve the material, I'll not solve the books, I'll not practice enough. But with solving of mocks, I want to improve my score. That's not going to happen. You're getting me? It's like that. Okay. I did not go to the driving school. Okay. I did not practice enough, but now I want to drive the car on highway at a 120 speed, and I want to do the lane cutting also and everything. That's not going to happen. You'll end up with accident. Fine. So first you focus on practicing the topic wise. If you do enough practice, it will automatically reflect in your score. It's a reverse way. आप मॉक पे जंप करो without practicing the areas. आप areas practice करो चाहे तो next 1 month. Don't bother too much about your MCD scores. After 1 month, your MCD score will jump. Got it? Sure. Fine, all of you. Shall I just end this session?